Hello.
Oh, woke you up, I guess.
That's right. What do you want?
I should have waited till morning just to let you know.
Know what?
That I'm fine. I rented a room today. I'm gonna look for a job tomorrow. I think, hey, I think we'll both be better off with me out from under. Uncle Angelo, you dozing off or what?
You called me. Are you finished? I gotta get up early.
Okay. Oh, and the car. So I figured you wouldn't need it till the weekend. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can.
I was waiting for you to start the weaseling out process.
I'm not weaseling out. I got a little hot. Look, you didn't exactly say nothing. It was a fight, that's all.
You stole my car, that's all.
You know better than that. I had to get out of there. Matter of fact, I think you were about ready to throw me out.
Joe, you stole my automobile. Now, that's what I told the detective that I talked to. You tell him all about your situation. I'm tired.
You been driving this car, sir? You have the right to remain silent. If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak with an attorney and to have an attorney present during your questioning.
Length of time at present address?
Since this morning, what, 12 hours?
How about the previous one?
Oh, my uncle's house?
Yeah, how long there?
Oh, my whole life. Up till Tuesday.
And age at last birthday?
19. Oh, listen, I guess I should do something about a lawyer. I haven't got any money.
The county's paying for your lawyer.
Mr. Shelley resides in the county and has been nearby his place of residence for the past 6 years. He has no previous record, Your Honor, and I believe there are special circumstances that warrant Mr. Shelley's release on his own recognizance.
Motion for OR release is denied. Hearing set for Division 2, March 3rd at 10 a.m. Bail at $5,000 up to stand.
May I approach the bench, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Message from my boss. Help with an exclamation point.
I used to think there were too many deputy public defenders.
We can't handle anything new beyond arraignments.
Starting today?
For at least a month.
All right, I'll appoint a lawyer for this kid.
Got one in mind?
No. Yes.
Queen's check.
200.
It's on you, Counselor.
I'm merely considering the amount of the raise, gentlemen.
Well, hurry up so I can fold. I'll say if you have any more of those sausage things, I could use about a dozen. Anybody else? Oh, lovely.
Daniel, I call.
I'll see you next time. Cards, last card.
Nothing there.
Uh-oh.
Well, sudden strength. Timing leaves something to be desired.
Got the shorts? I thought you just finished a case.
Slow pay, but good.
Oh, wait a second. If you think you have a bettable hand, I'll be glad to help out.
Thank you, Will, but markers make me nervous. Mine more than anybody else's.
Well, I wasn't talking about loaning you the money. I was thinking, make a bet the size of your fee. If you win, you win. If you lose, I have myself a lawyer when I need one.
My practice is pretty much limited to the criminal area.
Then he knows something we don't.
I've always kept my vice and my profession separate. Probably best if I stuck to that. It's bettable, though. I'm all in. Pair of aces.
2 pair.
3 10s. Add them all the time.
So much for intuition. Sit down, Doctor. My beeper.
Cards, gentlemen. He doesn't much care if he has them or not.
Let us not discuss an absent player. He must be used to that.
Mallory.
I know you just finished a Lulu of a case, so I presume when I called, you were unwinding.
That's right. Thank you.
Did you win?
Not often enough. It's all in the wrists, or so they tell me.
Why don't you call a fella?
Nothing to report.
For 6 months?
I'm sorry, Ted. You're right. We won the judgment, by the way, and it was a Lulu.
How many appeals do you expect?
There'll be at least 3. They haven't disposed of the house yet.
Why not?
Soft market.
In a roundabout way, Daniel, I'm trying to determine if you've been paid your fee for half a year's work.
In a straightforward way, no.
Well, you won't foreclose and you won't petition. So would you mind telling me how?
My credit rating is impeccable.
I'm delighted to hear that. Just the same, if you're not swamped, you might be able to do me a favor. Got to appoint someone to a grand theft auto. Public defender's office is crying again.
You are the soul of tact.
Would you do it, though?
I never turn down a sitting judge.
I'm very grateful.
So am I.
Now, here's the hard copy, as they say in space work. Hey, did I hear something about you taking a teaching job?
I was offered one.
What was the matter with it?
Cafeteria put raisins in the gravy.
Dan, it could be a good way for you to go.
Why?
Out of the hassle. No reminders.
Look, before my unpleasantness, that same university offered me the Walter Daniel Pritchett Chair in Criminal Law. That was one of 8 chairs offered to me that year. I didn't kid myself, it was the name they wanted. Now, Mallory is a name they don't want. So when a man offers me an assistant professorship out of kindness, I still don't kid myself. I don't need to earn respectability twice in my life.
Don't give me that. You need all the friends that you've got and your respectability. Teaching be as good a way as any.
No, gives you too much time to think.
How long since you buried your wife? 4 years?
4 years and 3 months. I don't want to be out of the hassle. It's good company. Kid stuff.
It's absolutely true. He's been both parents to me, but do you know what I'm saying? He never lets me forget it.
And your impression is that you had an agreement?
Well, yeah, I worked a whole lousy summer for me, so the money was going to be mine to do with what I wanted. It was dense of me to expect him to live up to it.
All right, he wouldn't hand over the money, no strings. Then what?
I split. I was never going to keep the car.
What's he do?
A lot of stuff. Made a pot full of mortgage money, and he subcontracted and built some. Oh, he's got lots of points in the hockey team downtown. Naturally, they started winning.
You like him?
Hey, he's a tough dude, but he's generally been fair with me. Maybe this time, too, huh? So what's gonna happen?
They have to. Prove your intent to permanently deprive your uncle of the car. Unlikely. I think we can reduce the charge to felony joyride, no jail time.
Well, how soon could that happen?
You have to stay in jail another 10 days until the preliminary hearing. Nobody else who might handle your bail?
No. I was depending on my cute, honest face. 10 days in this place can't be any worse than that cement pouring gig he had me on in August.
Now you listen. You pretty salty? Like to fight? Like to shove yourself forward?
No.
All right, look at that. It's blank. That's you for as long as you're in here. Don't be unfriendly. More important, don't be friendly. Don't be anything but an order taker. Keep your cute, honest face to yourself.
I didn't say I was chicken.
Then convert.
Henderson Lloyd, booking number 9692011. One coop left in G module, bed 6. What is this, Sully?
Shelley.
Shelley, no priors, GTA, waiting prelim.
He's got to go in D module, Frank.
Maybe we can shuffle somebody a little later.
Shelley?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. First beat.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking to myself. All right, your bunk number's 14. Go find it, go sit on it. Trusty will tell you how we want it made. He'll tell you how we like to see your toothbrush and washcloth laid out. He'll tell you everything you need to know. Once he'll tell you, and the second time I'll tell you. Right. Martinez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
trustee for this model. My name's O'Brien. Each of these 4 bunk units is a separate unit, and we run them that way. Seniority counts, and you're the newest. So this week, you strip the beds and make them. Hospital corners, tight as you can get. Hey, I don't know what you think is so funny.
It's my mistake.
Kiss my elbow.
Which one?
The father's one away from you. Hey! Where do you think you're going?
Cincinnati, maybe?
No, I'm not a trustee.
I know.
You know? How do you know that? Hey, what's your beef?
Took a car.
You don't have to be scared. Well, what'd you do? Make an approach and hit on a cop by mistake?
Grand Theft Auto.
You don't want to confess. Did your lawyer tell you to do that? I take one look at you and know what your beef is. You're too pretty to steal a car. Okay, let me show you how they want the bunk left. Watch out for him. He's got a murder trial coming up and he's getting near the edge.
What am I supposed to do?
Stay awake. Anyway, watch me.
I hope that's you.
Know anybody else with a key? What'd you do all day?
My homework.
What's the service answer?
I've left my name at the tone 3 times in the last 2 hours. Let me give you a longer message. Your nephew claims that you owe him a summer's wages. If there's a witness to that agreement, we can take civil action through the courts. I might also just wander up to the Department of Labor and file a complaint because I have a sneaking suspicion you didn't pay out his Social Security, and he does have a card. It might be a lot easier just to return my call. Bail is $5,000. I need 10% of that plus collateral, and I understand yours is just dandy. Mallory. You told him good. I never have gotten used to talking to transistors.
Try this for me, please.
You've come a long way from Dijon, Maxie. Up or down? You were a great chef. Now you hire good ones. I suppose that's up.
You think there is a witness?
Who told you to listen? Well, there's got to be. Unless he poured cement by himself all last summer. Where you going? Directly to jail.
Judge Honey, your lawyer wants to see you.
Settling in?
Pretty good.
Lonely yet?
So you didn't lie?
I never lie. It's a real bummer that you're out there in A module. Otherwise, you can make your own arrangements.
I want that.
I thought you might.
Yeah. But you're all noise, Tony. You always have been. You can't deliver.
Worth betting on?
Betting. Betting you owe me $90 already, man.
And it's on my mind, Georgie. I can't concentrate on my beef the way I should when I concentrate on what?
You're so dead bang, I wonder why they bother. You're gonna walk out of that joint with white hair if you can still walk. But I dealt you 2 outfits. Good smack both times. And I don't want you to think you're gonna get away with nothing out of pity. I'll collect. All brothers of mine will.
So the bet can be if I deliver you a punk, we're even. Now, what's wrong with that?
Well, to start with, $90 a lot of bread.
He's gonna be here at least 10 days.
And what you'll do because you're so desperate, you'll jump on his program when you can catch him alone, and he'll show up full of bruises and scared to death. Who needs it?
You do. Come on.
Wait a minute, there was another one. Willington or Remington, a black guy.
He was aware of the agreement?
Oh, yeah, they all were. They got on me about it loads of times because they'd see, they'd see him handing me money down at the sites. I don't know if he'd testify about it, though.
There's only one alternative to testifying if he's subpoenaed. You're sitting in.
He'll testify.
No, it's a muscle flex anyway. Process would take too long.
More than 10 days?
We'll see.
My uncle spends half his life with lawyers, you know?
So do I. All right. 4 names. Good start. How you keeping?
I'm cutting it, I guess.
Where'd they put you? You in a cell?
No, one of those dormitories like?
Module F, most likely. That's temporary.
No, D.
How's it going, Mr. M?
What the hell is that kid doing in D module?
You asking me? Must have been the only bumps.
He's a first timer. You know what's in there.
What is it, GTA?
It's his uncle's car.
Well, we've been getting a rush these past few days. I don't know exactly why.
That's an explanation, but no excuse. I want him out of there.
See what I can do.
I tell you, Frank, I want him out of there.
Dan, there's plenty of supervision, just as much in D module as in any of the others.
Just as little, you mean? Now, who do I talk to?
City Council. Meets every Thursday.
Thanks a lot.
Nice night, huh?
It's all right.
Can't see much of it through the window, can you?
Nope.
Hey, I didn't mean to hassle you so hard before. You forget what it's like being new.
No problem.
Did you notice that big dude I was standing with?
No, not really.
He sure noticed you. Name's Georgie. Not a bad guy. But he's a little worried, though.
About what?
You? Look it, baby. Let's face facts for a minute. You're new, but you're not stupid.
Maybe I am.
A young guy with your kind of looks will draw a lot of attention in here. I'm not inclined that way myself, but I don't put it down or anything.
Hey, I'm not inclined either.
But nobody's gonna ask you. You follow?
Nice night.
And see, what really surprised you is how many there are that are inclined that way. And with no kind of outlet. It leaves you with a problem on your hands. You know, that you never get any warning. And they're hitting on you from all directions. That's a warning now. From an old hand to a punk.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, the best way to go is to line you up for some protection. George is peculiar, but he's bad. And nobody mess with him. So if they all saw that you and him were hitting it off, and nobody would mess with you either. Are you following?
It's another joke. Like you being a trustee.
It's nothing like that at all.
Georgie, say hello to Joe Charlie.
Happy to meet you. Look, I know it's rough being in the first... Noise, Tony. Nothing but noise.
Look, I'm not interested. I just want to be left alone.
And you? Don't you ever brush my hand off.
Georgie! Back to your own group. He start something with you?
No.
What was going on, kid?
Well, he was showing me something he saw in a movie.
You're dry. Get dressed and get back to your bunk.
You see that? I didn't say what I could have, and I won't if you just...
Who's stopping you? You want to talk to the marshal, man? That's your right.
Guaranteed. I'll call him back over for you. No, wait. Look, Tony, I'm sorry about your trouble, but all I want to do
Is leave here alive. I'll definitely show you how to do it. We'll talk some more later. After the lights go down, probably.
them to send it for Detroit.
Go where Detroit won't take it from us.
Mr. Rondell all around?
I know that voice. Come on, sit down. What was it?
Daniel Mallory. I left it at the tone.
Ah, Mr. Mallory, Sandra Wild.
Afternoon.
How did you get past the security?
I told him I was an officer of the court.
Which is accurate. He thought you meant you were a cop.
You found me out.
And you found me out. I'm impressed.
Well, I'm tired. I've been in and out of 6 restaurants and a backgammon parlor looking for you.
You must have a lot of time in your hands.
What I need is your undivided attention. If you want to try and communicate at this level, it's all right with me. I'm here to talk about your nephew.
All right, I got your message. You're going to the Department of Labor. I'm his guardian, and he hasn't reached emancipated status, and he eats good when he's home. When his hearing comes up sometime around next Easter, they're going to throw it out of court. Now, I'm not telling you something that you don't know already. But as far as this case is concerned, I'm not dropping the charges.
Naturally. Because you know bloody well you'd have to stand still for a lecture from the judge about wasting the people's time with your private fit of pique. And you'd probably be hit up for court costs, which would total more than the money you owe that boy.
You're in no position to know what I do and don't owe that boy.
Then fill me in. I came a distance to find out.
I owe him a shot at becoming the kind of a man who doesn't run when he can't win an argument.
I don't know if you could call it running.
That's exactly right. You don't know. Think I want the kid to serve real time?
And what do you want?
I want him to get a good first-hand look at where he's headed. 10 days in jail. It could be the best thing that ever happened to him.
You're so wrong. I'm not sure where to begin. You're presuming something about the county jail.
All right, so it's not a Mardi Gras, and it shouldn't be.
What it should be is not what it is, friend. What it is on this day and date is a cesspool. You put an inexperienced youngster into that, and all you're doing is lighting a fuse, and nobody can predict the length of that fuse. 10 days, 10 minutes.
I think more about that kid than you do. He can handle himself if he has to.
You think, but I know. I know what's in there with him. I've spent 20 years defending these people. I can deal with them. I talk their language. Now, let me share a secret with you. They scare me to death.
That's good. Maybe it'll take a while before he thinks about doing anything that'll send him back there.
I haven't reached you, have I?
He's going to stay right where he is. I'm glad to see he's got a good lawyer.
He'll have to settle for that. What he needs is a good uncle.
Hey, can I talk to you?
Stupid question. I could use some help. Why you come to me for?
Because you walked away. You know, we made that other guy kiss his elbow.
Why didn't you?
And they told me to stay on my bunk.
Look, I don't care, man. Don't come to me for help. I got plenty of struggles of my own.
Hey, just tell me how far you'll push it.
Push what?
Oh, come on, man. You know what's been going down.
No, I don't know nothing.
All right, pretend you do. Look, I want to know whether he's putting me on or whether I should worry or what.
You should worry about Garcia? What you do, kid, make yourself a shank. Then could be you don't got to worry.
A shank? What are you talking about?
Cut yourself a spoon. But it won't do you no good unless he knows you got it and you can use it.
What are you telling me? That's the only way to keep him off me?
I'm showing you what keeps him off of me. Now you pull my coat long enough, Sonny, and go away.
You've been thinking about it. You're not sleeping, kid. I know the feeling. I can't figure out what difference it makes to you. Garcia, I'm gonna arrange it. No, you're not.
Whether you dig the idea or you don't.
If you don't stay the hell away from me, I'm gonna kill you. And if he touches me, I'll kill him.
Hold still. Garcia, what are you doing there?
Getting up water.
The sink's in the other direction. Move.
Feeling fortunate?
So?
Double or nothing.
Heads.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3, you won.
2 out of 3. Tails. Tails. Just checking. Pass me the phone, Leonard. I want to see how the big league luck is running.
Station 9. Yeah, I spoke to the senior deputy, Dan. We're gonna move your kid to the annex.
When?
Probably tonight. Tomorrow, the latest.
Where'd you get it?
A guy in the chief deputy's office. Could be you're back to looking for 90 skins.
Could it?
Well,
It's not my kind of music.
you know what I mean.
What are you making such a project out of this for? He's not blood. He's just your boyfriend's nephew. I know he's on your mind. He was even before this happened.
Angelo, you're not talking to some towel boy.
I don't know who I'm talking to.
Someone who can tell when you're in pain.
Don't be psychic.
Don't be a Nazi. He's had enough.
Yeah.
My lawyer's getting me moved. That's wonderful. Who gives a damn? Yeah, well, I just want to thank you, you know, for the advice.
There's no talking on a work detail, Chili. Ruiz, you should know better than that.
If I knew better, I wouldn't be here at all.
Chili, mop up the storeroom.
I need a mop refill.
Well, what do you want me to do? Get you one from the supermarket? You know where they are. Just make it fast.
Look, it's back from Cincinnati.
I said no chatter. Ruiz, what makes you so popular today? You dealing smack again?
What do you mean again? You taping all of this?
Sunflower, I'm gonna make this very fast. Georgie's expecting a visit, and I don't care if they move you to Alaska, you're making it. Now, we never rapped about what I did to get in here. I did it with these. And the way I feel now, I could do it again. I'm gonna give you one sample. Just one free sample, very fast. Tony, I'll yell. Nobody cares. See? I'll yell.
Here, I'll take that.
This doesn't look so bad.
Let him tell you about it. And give him a chance to talk. He likes you, you know.
Why shouldn't he?
People always get upset at first when they do the right thing, but it passes.
Who says this is the right thing?
You do. Here you are, Frank. Saved you the bus trip to the annex.
I think he's already been moved.
Sudden efficiency, just when we can't use it.
There was something about Shelley this morning. I noticed the name. Oh, yeah. He's in the high power section, in his own cell.
What's he doing over there?
Talking to the detectives, probably. Danny got in a fight yesterday with another prisoner. Killed him.
How?
I don't have it here.
Why wasn't I called? I know, you don't have it there.
I don't believe it. What do we do?
You did a dandy job of staying away from me. Just keep it up until I call you. Then be there, if there's anywhere to be. Everybody hates paperwork, but it does give you time to think.
Hey, doesn't it ever happen that they can see? I mean, just any fool can see that you were fighting for your life.
No. Main thing is that you can see it. Tell it calmly, make me see it, and we're halfway home. You didn't tell me about Garcia shoving you around.
What if I had?
All right. Did any of the fight happen outside the storeroom?
But there wasn't any fight. He'd have killed me. I sort of dropped down to get out of his way, you know, and I grabbed hold of this metal clamp and I swung it as hard as I could. And he dropped. Look, I couldn't believe it. It was so easy.
Dumb luck.
If I'd have missed him, I don't know what'd be better. What are they booking me for?
They'll call it homicide and kind of RSVP it back to us.
What do you do?
Paperwork. Have enough sundries to keep your mind occupied? Need any pocket money?
No, not right now. Does my uncle know?
He was with me when we found out.
What does he think?
I don't know. You'd be amazed how little it matters. There is something that does matter. It's a standard speech I go through with new clients. I skipped it with you because your case was routine. But it's far from that now, so I want you to listen. Time was I handled a somewhat higher volume of cases. The DA regarded me as a kind of family curse, his family. Decided to do something about it. He told his deputies to nail me, and one fine day I was accused of suborning a witness to perjure himself. Made all the papers for a full week. There was a complete investigation. The Bar Association recommended no action. Now, to a lawyer, that means I was cleared. To the public, it seemed like just another whitewash. The investigators found nothing because there was nothing, but that didn't make the papers. Consequently, from that time, there's been this cloud. Always this cloud, this possibility that a juror, or maybe a majority of jurors, will remember at a time when their minds should be uncluttered with anything but the current case. That makes it tougher. It's about like going up to bat with a strike one count, but it hasn't stopped me. If it worries you, tell me now and I'll find you another lawyer. There's plenty of good ones. The court just happened to appoint me.
You're a good one, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Then it doesn't worry me.
There being sufficient cause to believe that the within complaint as charged has been committed, and that the within named defendant guilty thereof, I order that he be held to answer for the same, and that he be committed to the custody of the sheriff of this county. The defendant is ordered to appear for felony arraignment in Superior Court on October 17th at 9 a.m. in Department 116. Having disposed of the prelim matter, the court will now proceed on pending arraignment matter.
Bob, if you're amenable, I'd like to keep him where he is for the duration. He's not going to win the congeniality award in any of the modules.
That'll be fine with me.
Naturally, I'll be filing a discovery motion. But I'd be grateful if you could let me see whatever you have as soon as possible.
You'll be first. I don't know what the detectives have for me. I'm sort of black-backing into this slowly.
You think you'll need a 6-day continuance?
Sure, that'd be telling.
That's why I'm asking.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. You must have dozens of other cases.
Oh, I'm laying them off. You're a full-time job.
Well, thank you, Daniel. I try to be.
they got? Witnesses or statements?
Too early to tell.
Now, I don't get this. First of all, the guy was twice the size of Joe.
We'll get around to facts. At the moment, I'm studying the opposition.
What is this, play period?
Sit down. When you deal with homicide prosecutors, Mr. Rondelli, you spend most of your time watching them. These are big egos. They're out to make skill points with their bosses.
They don't railroad people in this county. You're not trying to tell me that, are you?
It's not unheard of. But whatever, I have to play it that way. I could have used a softer man.
Is there anything else I can do?
He doesn't want to see you right now.
Well, I can understand that.
Good. Also understand that if he's in there for long enough, that will probably change.
Sure.
When it does, I'll let you know.
Where are you headed?
Jail?
Almost everybody was out in the home lobby.
What about here?
Well, there was probably somebody.
Can I take a look?
I don't know. You're really supposed to clear it.
The DA's already begun to move, and clearance would take me a day and a half.
Come on.
I take it you've shifted all the former residents since the killing.
That's policy.
Where'd you put Garcia's friends?
Didn't have many, and I don't put people anywhere.
You sent Joe in here to mop up.
That's right. And Garcia needed a refill.
You sent him in here?
That's where the refills are.
All right. Now we have Garcia and Celli in here alone. You're where?
Back near my desk.
Well, you can't see either one of them. That policy?
It is when you're short-handed.
You were short-handed that day?
We've been short-handed ever since I got this job.
Go on.
That's it. Heard Garcia yell and went running.
You heard him yell. How'd you know it was Garcia? Why not Celli?
I recognized his voice.
Have you told the DA this already? Oh, why do I bother to ask? All right, what'd you find?
One man down, you're a man up.
Did you check Garcia?
No, I called the infirmary.
And homicide.
Well, what did you expect? Anyway, the infirmary guys got here second, and homicide said he was dead.
They have the most charming way of doing that. Nobody ever dies after they get there. Ronnie, does it make sense to you, Celli killing Garcia on purpose?
I was surprised. Not at the fight, just how it came out.
You weren't surprised at the fight?
No, night before they were getting into it.
How?
Look, I said if he didn't leave me alone, I'd kill him. Told him I'd kill Georgie, too.
You realize Weimer's already told all this to the police, who've turned around and ladled it out for the DA.
I'm sorry, it didn't seem... I forgot to tell you. So now I told you.
Yeah, now you've told me. Anything else about Garcia, Georgie? Anything they said? Anything you said?
No, you got it all.
How are you holding up in high power?
Oh, it's not bad.
In particular, what's the matter?
You see, I hear voices.
Already?
No. Look, it's no fantasy, man. Guys in a corridor. They'll stop, pretend to drop things.
These voices. Can you, recognize them?
No, I can't see around.
What do they say to you?
They say stuff about Garcia. You know, that he had a lot of friends up in the state penitentiary. I'm gonna have a lot of enemies up there. You know, that kind of propaganda. I guess they do it to cheer themselves up, huh?
Usually.
I was showing him something that I saw in a movie.
Were you a friend of Garcia's?
And I knew him. Just to talk to. We were in different modules.
Poles apart. What was the name of the movie?
I don't know. Had something to do with a dragon, I think. So you're that one. You know, I heard about you.
What have you heard, Georgie?
That you could get a rock to open up on a stand.
Doesn't worry you much, does it?
I've been cross-examined by the best of them.
How long have you been out of jail?
Couple of days.
Since you agreed to be a prosecution witness.
That's right.
Well, if he's going to use you, Harold, he's got to give me the information sooner or later.
You want me to tell you what I'm gonna say?
Only if you want to. You'll save me a couple of hours, that's all.
Then how come you drove all the way over here?
I get restless.
They got your kid, dead bang.
You're sure of that?
2nd degree, at least.
What were you up for?
Transporting. They had a very weak case.
No paid informants to testify?
Just trying to get me mad.
No. Why was Garcia pressuring Joe?
He wasn't pressuring Joe. He made one crack about him not being in there for auto theft. The kid said if you ever caught him looking the other way, he'd kill him.
Did he say it in English or Turkish?
Both.
You enjoy doing this, don't you?
No. I enjoy not being locked up in that sewer. So would you.
They won't buy you.
So they won't. Mallory! Mallory! I don't want you to think I got anything against your kid, or you either. It's survival time, like usual. But I'll tell you, I've been there and I think the kid's gonna fall, mainly because you haven't got anybody to contradict me. Okay, I can't help you there. But, if the kid is convicted, and if you can't get him to county jail, and he goes to the penitentiary, anyone in the state, you know what'll happen.
So?
So, I can give you the whole procedure on how to get him transferred to an out-of-state prison. I could tell you who to call, how to set the whole thing up.
That's very sweet of you, Harold.
Well, I'll probably be needing you one of these days. Dinner time! Don't you have a home to go to?
Knowing how you feel about benefit concerts, I can only say I'm overwhelmed.
I had to do something to clean that Gemütlich out of my ears before tomorrow night. You can make it.
Paula, you will always have a guaranteed audience of one.
Well, that would be enough for me, but my poor managers would have to change their lifestyles very drastically. I come to this city 3 times a year, and I play for Daniel Mallory. Does that really fulfill you, Miss Boyce? It would if I knew what he did with the rest of his time.
Why don't you retire and find out?
Who are you kidding? Not Miss Boyce, anyway.
I miss you very much.
Yeah. I got the Christmas card. Well, I give you this. You never hide it when I drop in. You think she'd approve?
She was very much like you in certain ways. And that was a stupid observation if there ever was one.
She play the piano?
I said certain ways. She loved music as much as you. But she played the piano about as well as I type. She was a part of my life that worked out. You know how you tend to hang on to those.
And why do you gamble?
Because I can usually afford it. And it's a kind of barometer. My professional luck runs the opposite way. When the smear campaign started, I was in the middle of a very hot streak that ran through horses, cards, and several pro football teams. It was very cold comfort. How about another drink?
I don't really need one.
Mallory.
I just got a call from Joe. He remembered somebody, a witness he thought might be some help. Roberto Ruiz. R-U-I-Z. He called me, Mallory.
Good. Good for both of you.
Yeah.
Go on working on the interior of that black and white over there.
How long do you think it'll take him?
As long as I give him.
Can I have 5 minutes?
He doesn't have to talk to you, you know.
It's got nothing to do with his case.
All right, but make it snappy. I'm not supposed to allow it.
And first offenders on non-major squeals are not supposed to be shoved into a D module either.
I said all right.
Mr. Ruiz?
Mr. Ruiz is my father.
I'm Dan Mallory. I'm defending Joe Celli.
Somehow that don't decide me about his chances.
What's your opinion?
My opinion is I wasn't in the storeroom.
No, but Joe seems to think you were working just opposite the door.
Who knows? If I was, I didn't see nothing.
He also says the night before it happened, he told you he was scared of Garcia and asked your advice.
He's got a beautiful imagination.
That never happened?
It's not in my memory that it did.
What about what Weimer suddenly remembers this morning? That Garcia said something to you just before he went into the storeroom.
Garcia used to say a lot of things to me.
What did you say to him? Not much, because you didn't like him, did you?
I didn't kill him.
Suppose you'd had a vote in the matter.
Stupid question.
His friends worry you, don't they?
Everything worries me.
I can understand that.
Yeah, you can understand a gang of things when you're on the outside.
Look, I'm trying to do my best for my client. You'd want your lawyer to do the same, wouldn't you?
I gave up on that about 6 months ago.
How long are you in for?
I've been in for 9 cold months. I ain't come to trial yet. On a 4-bit burglary they didn't righteous to begin with. So don't come sobbing on my shoulder.
Who's representing you?
Nobody. I'm supposed to have some public defender.
Would it hurt to give me his name?
What are you looking for out of me?
The truth?
You got that for nothing.
I don't think my kid's a liar.
Then you must have a different recollection, huh?
What's the problem with your case? Lots of continuances? If you've served 9 months, it's possible you could walk out of here tomorrow.
His name is Richardson. He's a public defender. Now leave me alone.
Oh, I asked him to speak up because I had a cold and my ears were blocked. I can't help it if an investigator overheard. I'll bring in a doctor's note, Jerry, but the fact is your man's a liar. Oh, who am I looking for?
R-U-I-Z. How many cases are you handling?
What time is it? Now, this is not the R file. This is the Ruiz file. Got a first name for me?
Roberto.
All right, we're in luck. Only 5 Ruiz Robertos. Got a middle initial?
J.
All right, here. You see for yourself. We were ready. Judge Hardesty got sick, and then the cops on the case took off. Where did Ruiz suddenly get money from?
I'm handling it.
Oh, one of those.
Decidedly. Now, who's the prosecutor?
John Shields. And may the Lord have mercy on you.
Come on, Dan, touch my heart.
If anything could, this ought to. First, Judge Hardesty gets his famous pleurisy. Then the arresting officers go on vacation. Then Richardson gets involved in another heavy trial.
Now, that's really tragic.
I have no comment.
You sure don't, or do you? Tell me, Dan, why are you so interested in this case?
Credibility.
Dan, he's not your client.
But my client's watching. And John, it's an obscene miscarriage of justice, and you know it.
John Shields. Well, as soon as I'm through up here. Yes, he'll have to wait about 20 minutes. Listen, we all waited 3 months for the confession. Are you sure it's my case?
It's your case. Did I stretch?
How do you see it?
Minor second-degree burglary at best.
Therefore?
Therefore, let Ruiz plead guilty to the charge and give him credit for time served, 9 months.
1 year tail?
If this case had been handled properly, he'd have been sentenced to 30 days and 6 months probation. He's had his tail. Now let him run.
You know, I've been around this track with you before. He's not your type, credibility or not. You don't usually come on this strong.
Every molecule in the body changes every 7 years. I'm not the same. Nobody is.
That's a little weak, Dan. But you're strong on the merits in this instance. All right. If Ruiz buys it, we do.
It's a bummer to begin with.
They can't give you back the 9 months, Berto. It's one more minor beef. Let's be frank. It won't make that much difference.
Hey, wait a minute. When could I leave?
Take about a day. Tomorrow morning, Richardson and I will pop down to Hardesty's chambers with the DA, and you can start zipping up your overnight bag. I'll see you around. Good luck.
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't say yes. What about probation?
No probation.
You weren't shucking, were you? You mean I could split down as soon as I cop?
That's right. But why would you have to?
Sit down. A lot of cool, that you got.
I don't follow you.
No, of course not. All right. You made the deal for me, I'll testify for you.
Berto, I can't use a phony witness. Now, what can you testify?
That your kid did come to me the night before, tell me Garcia was pressuring him. I told him to get himself a shank. I showed him mine. We can keep that out of it.
No problem.
And that I saw what happened in the storeroom.
Which was?
Tony had the kid cornered, was going to down him. Tony yelled, jumped the kid. The kid dropped and came up with a metal clamp.
Why was Garcia pressuring Joe to go see Georgie?
To pay off a narc debt.
Did Harold Cole know about it?
Yeah.
You're willing to testify to all this under oath?
As long as I don't have to come back here.
You have somewhere to go?
Yeah, I got some people in New Mexico. I had it with this part of the country.
Well, you know exactly how much all of this means. So thank you is inadequate.
Oh, Dan.
Morning.
On your way up to Shields? I think he's out on an investigation.
Peachy.
Listen, I have some not-so-splendid news for you.
This early?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. A hunk of paper fell out of Ruiz's file. I found it last night. Ruiz has a co-defendant in the burglary matter. Out on bail all this time.
Up to a point, I feel sorry for him, but I'm not about to take any licks that I don't deserve. All that happened was I had a little more than I could handle, and I went along with him for laughs. But the whole thing was his idea.
That would be for the court.
Right. It's for the court to decide. Now, my lawyer thinks we have a pretty good chance of beating this thing altogether.
In the meantime, Ruiz polishes patrol cars and rots away little by little.
Mr. Mallory, this is where I am. Now, I'm taking a mechanical drawing class in night school. And there's only two things I want out of life right now. One is to be a good draftsman, and the other is to keep my record clean. Now, if I go along with this deal you're making,
You'd be a draftsman with a dirty record.
What would you do?
I would listen to my lawyer. Thank you, son.
Sorry. Bye.
Well, it's just a matter of persuading the DA to separate the actions, let this one stand trial on his own without prejudice or referral to this settlement.
Sounds simple.
Yeah. Now let me scout up John Shields and see what he has to say.
Everybody's here but Hitchcock.
Hello, Dan. You're not supposed to know about this.
Just happened to be driving by. Who's he?
He is Mr. Valentino, who, as of this morning, did not kill Mrs. Valentino. But he's decided to show us where certain selected portions of the lady can be found, wrapped neatly in metal foil.
Lovely.
Yeah, all part of the gestalt of my job. You know, it might be a good thing if more defense attorneys had a first-hand look at their clients' victims. I applaud your initiative.
Dorothy!
I see a glint. All right, let's get a picture before anything's moved. You, want to be in on the unwrapping?
Thank you, no. I did need to see you, though, John.
And obviously it couldn't wait, huh?
No, you recall the burglary settlement we made the other day.
You mean that obscene miscarriage of justice that you and I rectified?
The very one.
Yeah, I recall it.
Well, it turns out there's a co-defendant out on bail who doesn't want to go along with it.
And you would like me to separate Ruiz's case and stick to the deal, huh?
Well, it seems fair. The other man's been out for over...
Dan. What exactly is your image of the DA's office? I mean, you see us as a crowd of country bumpkins or something? Sort of a cross between the Keystone Cops and the Sheriff of Nottingham's men, huh? We got Rhodes Scholars in there, buddy. We communicate, you know what I mean? For example, just this morning, I communicated with Bob Latimer, who's got the Chile case with you. And for the pure exhilaration of it, I asked him if Roberto Ruiz could be of any help to either side in this case, particularly your side. Now, it turns out that Bob Latimer has interviewed a certain marshal named Weimer, who seems to think that Ruiz could be a conflicting witness to some people in this matter.
True, but does it have any bearing on the fact that...
Now, just a minute. I'm talking now. Now, you hand me a load of drivel about a miscarriage of justice, and you almost euchre me into messing up a colleague's case in chief. No, I won't separate. Ruiz will stand trial. And in the meantime, he's gonna sit right where he's sitting. And you, Dan, are gonna sit and parboil in your own lousy ethics.
John, what if I told you the straight truth from the beginning?
Dan, I hope it's necessary for you to go to your grave wondering.
Well, you took the shot. I'm grateful.
I wish you'd told me about your partner.
Yeah. Nice kid. Big ambitions.
The fact does remain you saw what you saw. Now, I can arrange for a certain amount of protection for you. I'll work night and day on it.
I don't need no protection, man. I got nothing to testify about.
You know better.
I know. And nobody talked to me. I didn't see what went down. I heard Tony yell and then he was dead. You want that testimony, you got it. Free of charge.
How's it going, Butcher? Thinking about life upstate? The word's been out for a while, you know.
Anybody messes with me gets to see the same thing Garcia saw. You spread that word around, chickens.
Joe, where's it going to get you playing their game?
Hell with it, man. I'm through just sitting there sopping it up. They want me, they can take the best shot.
Joe, this is Mallory.
Yeah, well, maybe this isn't Joe so much anymore. I mean, you ever sat in one of those fish cans all day long? You start by being scared. Then you get mad at yourself for being scared.
I know.
Oh, you know. Ruiz was right. I never should have let myself come that close to being killed. I should have made a shank. I should have had it ready.
I still think you'll be glad you didn't someday soon.
Oh, here comes a pep talk. It must be Friday. How long have I been in?
What's the matter with you? You lost count? 7 weeks.
It's just I'm starting to think about all the time before jail. It's like a dream.
That's natural.
Well, what do I do about it?
Fight it.
Yeah. So what do we got?
Proof? Proof enough, but it's tricky.
Well, should I worry?
Let your lawyer worry.
Mallory, your service relayed this call.
Like always, I appreciate you coming by.
No trouble.
I'm a layman, so run it by for me as slow as you want.
There isn't all that much to run by. I have a witness.
Well, so what?
Saw Garcia move first, saw Joe defend himself. The night before it happened, Joe came to this man Ruiz and told him he was scared of Garcia.
Ruiz told you all of this?
Right. I made a deal for him so he could testify, but it fell through. That puts him in jeopardy.
How?
Well, if Ruiz testifies without a guarantee that he walks out clean, word will get back to the jail, to Garcia's crowd, and he's as good as dead.
Why did the deal fall through?
A certain neurotic DA found out why I was making it. He took it personally and wouldn't treat Ruiz's case separately from his co-defendants.
So you're saying that you won't call Ruiz?
At this stage, one of two things would happen. He'd lie on the stand. If the jury bought it, your nephew would be on the way to being convicted. If I could break Ruiz down, then I've killed him.
All of a sudden, we've stopped mentioning my nephew.
One human life has as much...
And what do you mean, if you could break him down? Of course you could. All you gotta do is testify to what he told you. A lawyer's word against a prison. Now, don't tell me a jury wouldn't buy that.
Exactly how does that help Ruiz?
Let me tell you something, partner. My interest in Ruiz goes only so far.
Splendid. I've heard of a day late and a dollar short. Where was all your interest when it might have done some good? Who put Joe in there in the first place?
Well, this is the second place. And maybe I gotta move this thing for now on myself. I've been doing a little research on you, partner. You made me nervous from the beginning, and now I know why. And it looks like you haven't learned a thing since. Fix a witness. They'll always catch you.
There's no time for this rubbish now.
That's right, there's no time. I'm not gonna let my sister's kid go in there with a guy who's marked lousy. And I hire a lawyer who doesn't spend all his time in a bargain basement.
Who will do what?
Who will put Ruiz on the stand whether he wants it or not. And I will put you on so the jury knows exactly what happened.
You can't do that.
Oh, I can.
If I testify in open court that Ruiz told me the truth, you have put a gun in my hand, aimed it at his head, and made me pull the trigger.
Mallory, you don't scare me.
Don't put me in that kind of box. Don't ask me to kill him.
Goodbye.
I was just mumbling about you.
Seems to be the fashion.
Obviously, you haven't heard your good news.
Go ahead, Cliff. Be the first.
Coordinator's office is posted the judge's list. You drew your friend, Judge Kentner, for the Shelley case. Congratulations.
It's academic.
He's the cream. What are you talking about?
I won't be on the case. His uncle wants a new lawyer.
It's because of that bum rap?
Partly. Thanks for the vote.
I never thought it was anything else. You talked to the kid yet?
No. I'm not sure what to talk to him about. I can't really blame him if he takes a substitution, and I can't offer him anything better. They'll have to put me on to make a liar out of Ruiz.
Oh, yeah. This is the one with the busted deal.
Yeah, this is the one with a busted deal. Use me as a horrible example, young fella. I took the wrong approach with that vampire, John Shields.
What else could you have done?
It's what's keeping me awake. I don't know. I slept for 2 nights running. If it's like this now, what's it going to be like after I've killed him?
Stop it.
I can't patrol the cell block with a shotgun, Cliff.
Congratulations on Kentner.
Nice of you to notice.
What you got going?
aggravated assault.
And don't. Please do not congratulate me.
Who's the judge?
I am going to try and get it shifted somewhere.
Well, that's either got to mean Hardesty or Dieter.
It ain't Hardesty. Dieter. Have you heard the latest one?
The cop?
It seems that Mr. Justice Dieter was exceeding the speed limit last month, and a motorcycle one stopped him. Well, the cop recognizes him and lets him go. But Dieter didn't say a word.
Just took the badge number and turned him in. Turned himself in for speeding, got a suspended sentence, then went after the traffic judge for being too lenient. The traffic judge had to swear he hated Dieter's guts, and he'd have suspended anybody's sentence.
I am definitely going to get switched at it. You know he made me change my tie once. He even corrects my grammar.
That pygmy stuff doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that he runs your case for you, and the DA's, like an obstruction between you and the jury.
That's exactly what he's like.
Well, I'll be glad when he retires.
Well, he better not retire yet. Cliff, you may just have found it for me.
Found what?
You may just have bloody found it.
No, he wants to bring in Leo Bateman. What do you know about him?
Leo Bateman's a fine criminal attorney, one of the best. How do you feel about it?
I'm not so sure. I know my uncle's trying to make up.
It isn't just that, Joe. He thinks Bateman can do a better job for you than I can.
Can he?
Well, up to a few minutes ago, I thought at least he couldn't do any worse. But I think I may have found a way to go, a way that keeps Ruiz alive and gets you out of here.
You think? You mean it's still tricky?
It could explode.
Well, that's like saying I could explode.
That's what I'm saying. There is an appeal system, and if you went along with me and I fumbled it, Bateman would have a great case for showing me as incompetent.
And what'll happen to you?
Oh, any number of unattractive things, but that isn't the point. The point is, will you stick with me?
You know something? Somehow I like the way you worry. Maybe this Bateman guy doesn't worry so hard. No, I'll stick with you, Mr. Mallory.
Well, good morning.
Morning. Before we go in there, Dan, I want to add my sentiments to what John Shields has already told you. What you did cuts very close to subornation. I think it's highly suspect.
Subornation? It really distresses you, doesn't it? That's why your chief witness is puttering around in his own garden like a candidate for mayor when you opposed reduction of bail for him 3 months ago. You want it all? Mr. Shields is miffed. That puts a man's neck in a vice. But Mallory didn't act like a gentleman, so what else should Mallory expect? You have a battalion of investigators and the police to make your case for you. And the best you can come up with is a paid informant. Well, you put your paid informant on. This is going to be a jury trial, and I love asking a witness what he got to testify. I love it.
Oh, help yourselves, laddies. Everything's powdered and tasteless.
Thanks just the same. Your Honor.
You have a dismissal motion, obviously.
No, sir.
Well, that's refreshing.
But I am going to lay paper on you.
You what?
Believe me when I say it's nothing personal. But I'm going to file an affidavit of prejudice. I want another judge.
I'm not unfamiliar with pressure. There's a young, strong defense attorney I know. Snapped just last week. He was walking around the corridors, informing anyone who would listen that he was turning into a television set.
You're laboring toward a point.
No, just a question. How are you?
Better.
Talk. It never stops with you. I thought I'd heard the last of it a year ago.
Never will stop. I'm sorry it affects you. I assumed it didn't.
Not until now. Daniel, I appointed you to this case when it was an infant. Family car theft.
Because you felt sorry for me.
And when it grew up into murder, I was happy for your client because I thought he had himself the best criminal attorney I'd ever seen.
A lot of past tense this morning.
You throw the DA's office into an 8-cylinder snit pulling that witness trick.
Not from you.
I'm the man with his name on your folder. Yes, from me. Until I find out whether you've snapped or whether I've been wrong about you from the very beginning. You affidavit out the most liberal judge we've ever had in favor of... This had better not ever be repeated. In favor of Paul Dieter, whose thinking is slightly to the right of the Archduke Ferdinand. Now there is a compilation that worries me. And if I'm worried, I want to know why you aren't.
I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm positive that you think you do. In the meantime, you've tried something on this homicide. It didn't work. You're overreacting, and now it looks as though you're about to throw good money after bad with some kind of reverse psychology.
Well, I don't think I'm a television set. Dieter's what I have to have. He's an ex-DA, so those gangsters won't file on him. He's sharp on the law, he's got street sense, and he walks you through your case. He butts in. He has a passion for justice in back of all the nitpicking, and I'm sitting on something where either or both of two men are going to die unless something extraordinary happens.
You could always talk.
Talk is only part of it. I'll be honest, I'm terrified, but I have a way to go.
That's very reassuring.
It's the best I can do.
And I noticed that in spite of all the complaints from the public defender's office about their caseload, that Clifford Wilson has cleared the time to attend the trial. Paul Dieter hates courtroom tricks with the passion that you mentioned, and so do I.
Noted.
Daniel, the privilege of practicing law in superior court on major felony trials is just that, a privilege. It doesn't come with age or good grades. It comes when people like me have enough faith to go along with people like you. Once faith like that has been lost, I'm not sure it can ever be recovered. In the meantime, there are steps that can be taken. There are recommendations that I can make. And I want you to be fully aware that no matter what our friendship has been, I will not hesitate to take those steps and make those recommendations.
I understand. You didn't have to say it.
I thought I did. I'll make it even plainer. Don't screw up, or Superior Court will be something you read about to pass the time. Now, have we talked?
We've talked. And thanks for the faith you've still got. I know it's there.
It is. But why?
People versus Joseph Celli. Let the record show parties and counsel present. Jury is in the jury box. People ready?
Ready, Your Honor.
Call your first witness.
What did you do then?
I instructed the prisoners to return to their bunks immediately. I then used the emergency phone to call the infirmary and the homicide division. I then instructed Deputy Summers to place the defendant in custody and remove him to a security area.
Nothing further.
Mr. Mallory?
To your knowledge, was the defendant advised to call his lawyer?
Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Did the defendant make any statement to you at the time you placed him in custody?
Not to my recollection.
Isn't it the fact he said there was nothing else he could do?
Well, they all say that.
Find your answers to the questions you're asked, please, Deputy.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Now, just before Garcia entered that utility room, would you describe to the court exactly what you saw him do, if anything?
He said something to another prisoner.
Did you hear what he said?
No. I heard the word Cincinnati.
Who was the other prisoner?
I believe it was a man named Ruiz.
And where was he at the time Garcia spoke to him?
He was scrubbing the sink.
Was he in the corridor?
Yes. The sink is located in an alcove in the corridor.
Is the alcove located directly opposite the storeroom?
And not exactly. There's a slight angle.
But you can see into the storeroom from the sink?
Yes, sir.
I've nothing further at this time.
Redirect.
Did prisoner Ruiz respond to whatever was said to him by Garcia?
No, he did not.
Did he make any sign of recognition?
Not that I could see.
In fact, it's possible that Ruiz did not hear or notice Garcia in any way, is it not?
Calls for a conclusion.
Sustained.
Nothing further.
He said if he ever saw him looking the other way, he'd kill him.
You say it to Garcia?
To his face, never.
Will it be stricken as prejudicial?
Denied.
Nothing further.
Defense?
Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole. You are currently waiting sentence on a charge of transportation of stolen goods. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it not also correct that you were at present out of jail on your own recognizance?
Yes.
Was the District Attorney's Office originally opposed to such a release?
I don't recall.
You don't recall. But you do recall that Mr. Latimer informed you that they would no longer be opposed. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Exactly when did Mr. Latimer give you this good news?
Your Honor, I object to the form and substance of this line of questioning and move that the jury be asked to disregard.
May I be heard, Your Honor? Motive for testimony and the question of self-interest are always proper cross-examination. No opinions have been expressed and no leading questions have been asked.
Objection overruled. Motion denied. Witness will answer.
When did he tell you, Mr. Cole?
About a month ago.
Was it not on the occasion of his interview with you as a potential witness?
Yes.
Mr. Cole, what prompted you to come forward with this very serious testimony?
My duty as a citizen.
Ask a foolish question.
Mr. Mallory, there will be no parenthetical observations.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. No more questions.
People rest.
Defense will call its first witness.
We call Roberto Ruiz, Your Honor.
Mallory, I take it that you're going to push to declare him a hostile witness.
If you like playing defense, switch sides. Otherwise, sit down.
What do you think?
I'm here. You just say yes when you're asked.
Yeah.
Be seated. Mr. Ruiz, on the day and at the time that Tony Garcia was killed, what were you doing?
Cleaning.
Was this a normal jail occupation?
I guess so.
Where were you doing this cleaning?
In the main corridor?
Opposite the storeroom?
No.
Were you at any time in the vicinity of the storeroom?
I was cleaning the sink.
The sink was located in an alcove diagonally across from the storeroom.
Right.
Will you tell us what you saw, please?
I didn't see nothing. I had my back to it.
All right, you saw nothing. What did you hear?
I heard Tony yell.
Did you turn around?
Yeah, I could see he was down. I saw part of his body on the floor, and I seen the kid standing over him.
Mr. Ruiz, at any time before the day in question, did the defendant express fear of the deceased to you?
Not to my remembrance, no.
Did he ever seek your advice as to how he might protect himself from Garcia?
No.
Were you aware of a plan on Garcia's part to force the defendant into visiting another prisoner for any reason?
No.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruiz. I have no further questions.
Mr. Latimer?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
This witness is excused. Counsel for the defense, please approach the bench. I've been a judge a long time. I've seen a lot of irresponsibility in many courtrooms. I've disapproved of your methods many times, but I've never thought of you as irresponsible, much less incompetent.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, nothing. What do you mean putting on a witness like that in front of a jury?
There is meaning to it, sir.
There better be, and I better find out what it is soon, or this case gets retried with some adequate defense.
Noted. Your Honor, we ask that the last witness not be returned to custody at the moment.
Very well. Marshal will place Mr. Ruiz in a holding cell. Proceed, Mr. Mallory.
Your Honor, as a result of the testimony just presented, there's been a new development in the defense's case. With the court's permission, I'm now going to withdraw as attorney of record to be replaced by Mr. Clifford Wilson of the Public Defender's Office.
Your Honor, the people have strong objections. This seems like nothing more than a delaying tactic because of the quality of the witness just examined.
If I may, there will be no delay in the defense. Mr. Wilson is prepared to continue as scheduled, and the defendant is desirous of the change.
Mr. Shelley, is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
People's objection is overruled. Mr. Mallory, you are relieved as attorney of record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Wilson, you may call your first witness.
Call Daniel Mallory, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in a cause now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Mr. Mallory, did you hear Mr. Ruiz testify that he had his back turned to the action in question?
I did.
Did you have a conversation with Mr. Ruiz concerning that same subject matter several weeks ago?
Yes.
Object.
You're premature, Mr. Latimer. Overruled.
Would you now relate to the court the sum and substance of that conversation?
The court will now entertain an objection on the part of the people.
Obviously, Your Honor, any conversation between Mr. Mallory and Mr. Ruiz is total hearsay and totally inadmissible.
With permission, sir. Mr. Mallory's testimony is offered not toward the proof of the matter, but toward the limited purpose of contradicting Mr. Ruiz's testimony. I will submit that it is now admissible as an exception to the hearsay rule.
The people's objection is overruled.
Then I must object on other grounds. Namely, at the time that this alleged conversation took place, the witness was acting as the attorney for Mr. Ruiz, and there's a clear violation of attorney-client relationship.
Is that true, Mr. Mallory?
I categorically deny it, Your Honor. Mr. Ruiz was and continues to be represented by Mr. Richardson. I did act as a friend of the court to expedite Mr. Ruiz's case. I was not successful.
Objection overruled.
Mr. Mallory.
The record will be suspended at this point. Jury will be returned to the jury room. I will seek counsel immediately in chambers. That includes former counsel, Mr. Mallory.
Ruiz couldn't testify truthfully and hoped to stay alive in jail. I worked out a plea bargain that was entirely fair, that was no more than he should have gotten. I asked him for nothing in return. The decision was his.
Did he make that deal with you?
No, sir. With John Shields.
Why did the deal fall through?
Well, Shields found out that Ruiz could have helped to clear my client. He wouldn't split the case. And the effective result was that Ruiz had a choice between perjury and death.
You had a choice not to call him.
Did I? My client had no one else. Nothing to counter with.
Castle, what you were about to do was hang Roberto Ruiz in front of that jury.
I was praying for something else, Your Honor.
For what?
For you to stop me in time.
I am not a heavenly intercessor.
No, but you did stop me.
You would have impeached him under oath?
To save my client, who is not guilty, yes, sir, I would have.
Why didn't you come to me beforehand?
Well, to be honest, I was afraid to. I felt I needed to push the case to its limits with the jury watching.
And put my back against the wall.
I wanted company.
You don't give me much credit for evaluating a condition, do you?
More credit than anyone else on the bench. But it was life and death, and I didn't think I had the option of trusting anybody to see that without a demonstration.
You were totally aware of this?
Yes, sir.
It stinks. It's collusive and tawdry, and you ought to be thoroughly ashamed of yourself for having anything to do with it.
I don't think so. I'll stipulate to all the adjectives, but we're off the record, so I'm going to tell you what I was about to testify if I'd had to. That Ruiz had seen it go down. He'd seen Garcia go after my client. He knew it was self-defense. If the only way to get that to a jury is tawdry, then it's tawdry. But I can't find myself to be ashamed of anything except not thinking of it sooner.
Did Shields talk to you about that plea bargain?
Well, among other things,
Skip
yes.
the other things. Did you have any idea that Ruiz might have seen the killing?
Well, the deputy marshal thought it.
You had some suspicion that Ruiz might be an effective defense witness, yes or no?
Yes.
So when Shields consulted you about the Ruiz case, you had some advice, did you not?
Your Honor, you were a prosecutor. You must know what it's like to think that your action might damage a colleague's case.
Damage a colleague's case? This is not the campus debating society. Did Shields renege for that reason?
Substantially, yes.
Substantially, yes. So an office of which I have always been proud of being a member has attempted to thwart justice in a major felony matter.
Well, Your Honor, the people are not duty-bound to prepare the defense's case.
They damn well better be duty-bound to help in the search for the truth. What they did was knowingly withhold valuable evidence and deny Joseph Celli his fair day in court. In my court, mister! 3 specimens. 3 ornaments of the Republic.
4, counting the jail.
That jail has no bearing on this.
Your Honor, have you been up there lately?
Your office will honor the original deal with Mr. Ruiz. And if Shields doesn't like it, you have him come see me. I can't wait.
Yes, we'll honor it, sir.
And I want to see it on paper. I want Ruiz to see it. Then we'll bring back the jury and give Mr. Ruiz a chance to rehabilitate himself and testify to the truth. And you'll have your chance. All of you. To act like officers of the court, not like contestants on some game show. It's almost lunchtime. Get out of my stomach.
Give me your wrist. Check it. Sign right here.
You know, I still feel like I'm attached to a rubber band back in high power. Think it'll stop after a while?
Depends on what you learn. Did you learn that it wasn't so bad? That you can take it? That you're more of a stud than you thought?
Well, I did get through it.
Keep that up and you'll be right back here.
Well, what should I do? You know, what should I think?
What a coward you are. Convince yourself there's nothing worse and never look back.
Are you sure of that?
No.
I gotta show this to my old man. He'll never believe my lawyer took me to a place like this.
I'm not your lawyer, Berto.
Right. These noodles are lousy. They're half cooked. I wonder where they get their chefs from.
How's the veal?
A little chewy. Hey, look. I'm busting up a day when I ought to be traveling.
Don't be silly.
No, I'm kind of anxious to get out of here. I was wondering, being that I did end up being able to help your kid, which I'm real glad it turned out that way.
What was the amount you had in mind?
Well, I thought if I could loan $500, maybe I could get home a little faster.
Give you $20. Bank's closed Monday.
Whatever.
Good luck.
See you around.
Last I heard, you had a plane to catch.
There's still time. He hardly touched his food.
Well, you don't expect him to put up with chewy veal, do you? For a lousy $20. Moments like this really make the job worthwhile.
Something must. What exactly?
I wish I could say something more complex or subtle, because you have a taste for that. But the ugly truth is that what makes it worthwhile is winning. the Celtics do? I'm afraid of that. You do remember the banks are closed on Monday. Well, that's very flattering. Talk to you later. I'm still here, Susie.
Two big-name movies for you tonight on 5. John Travolta stars as a garage mechanic who acquires special powers in Phenomenon at 8. Then Michael Douglas, Demi Moore and Donald Sutherland star in Disclosure. Seduction leads to accusations of harassment in this thriller based on a Michael Crichton novel. It's at 10:25 tonight.